But that's only the beginning. Wait till I tell you about the Mercury engine. It's a V-type 8-cylinder engine, the only one in its price class. To get the compactness and smooth performance of a V-type engine in any other line of cars, you'd have to pay $333 more. And this engine develops a conservative 95 horsepower. Speed when you want it, power when you need it. Moreover, it's smooth power, for you have 8 cylinders working together and providing a greater overlap of power impulses than you get in a 6. Then there's dual carburation, which mixes the fuel with the air more thoroughly, so it takes less gas to produce the same power. 5 of the other cars in this class have only single carburetors. And Mercury uses duplex manifolding to distribute the fuel mixture equally to each cylinder, thus eliminating the overloading of center cylinders, so prevalent in single manifold engines. Not only that, but the fuel mixture doesn't have so far to go in a Mercury V-type engine. The reason is intake passages are much shorter and uniform in length.
And what does all this mean?
Dual carburation plus duplex manifolds plus shorter intake passages mean instant starting, better performance, and more mileage from the same amount of fuel. Then, excess weight has been engineered out of the Mercury 8, so that each horsepower pulls less weight and pulls this weight faster and more economically. All these facts combine to give the Mercury 8 the finest performance in this field.
But what about economy?
I'm glad you brought that up. That's something we can really talk about. In this year's Gilmore Yosemite Economy Run, the Mercury 8 won first place in its class with 23 76/100 miles to the gallon. And Mercury dealers all over the country who are running tests of their own report as much as 20 and even more miles to the gallon under the severest conditions. Why, letters are pouring in from owners who are getting this mileage in their Mercury 8.
But 8 cylinders use more fuel than 6, don't they?
It might appear so on the surface, but these Gilmore Yosemite figures show that the Mercury definitely excels in economy over many 6-cylinder cars.
Most unusual. But normally an 8 will use more gas, won't it?
Not necessarily. It takes no more gas to fill 8 small cylinders than it takes to fill 6 large ones. The size of the cylinders, their displacement, is the important thing. As I told you, the secret of our economy is that the Mercury makes better use of the same amount of fuel. And because the excess weight is engineered out of the Mercury, it uses the highest standard rear axle ratio in the industry. As a result, the Mercury engine turns over fewer revolutions per mile. In direct drive, where most engines take 5 steps or revolutions, the Mercury needs only 4 to go the same distance. That means less gas and oil is burned per mile. So you see why the Mercury 8 is tops in operation economy. Now maybe you'd like to hear about durability.
Yes. How can the Mercury 8 have weight engineered out and still be the most durable?
By the development and use of new metal alloys, which are both lighter in weight and far more durable. Here are some of the features employing these new alloys. Hardened steel cylinder liners, which increase oil economy and prolong engine life, an exclusive Mercury feature. Cast steel pistons, another Mercury exclusive in the price class. They're even lighter than common aluminum pistons and wear better than the old cast iron. And being the same material as the cylinders, they maintain a constant fit, hot or cold. Cast alloy camshaft and crankshaft. This unique steel alloy is harder and makes a smoother, longer-running engine. But there are other Mercury features which mean longer engine life and lower maintenance costs. Valve seat inserts for both intake and exhaust valves. These hardened steel inserts lengthen the life of your valves, and Mercury alone of these cars uses inserts under all valves. Mushroom end valve stems eliminate noise and the need for periodic adjustment. No other car in this class offers this feature. Semi-centrifugal clutch, a type used on the highest priced cars. It requires much lighter pedal pressure at low speeds where the clutch is used most. The majority of the cars in this group use clutches that require the same pressure at all engine speeds. Straddle-mounted pinions. The pinion in a Mercury rear axle is supported at both ends like a rolling pin for better alignment and longer life, an exclusive feature in this price field. Three-quarter floating rear axle. The wheel and axle shaft on each side are supported separately, so the axle shaft carries none of the wheel load. Naturally, the shaft will remain in alignment and last longer. No other car in this group offers this feature. And finally, Mr. Mercury, don't forget such durability features as full pressure lubrication, directed flow crankcase ventilation, and full-length water jackets. And there you have a list of durability features that no other car in this class can match.
Yes, young man, a most impressive list.
Then, after many miles, when you begin to put your Mercury in a class with your favorite type, you'll be glad to discover two plus values. The first of these is availability of service. When you get off the beaten path, you'll appreciate the thousands of conveniently located Ford Mercury service stations. No other car in this price group matches this widespread coverage. The second is high resale value. The Mercury resale value is above the average for its entire price group, an amazing fact when you consider that the car has been out only a little over a year. By the way, you're the patron saint and protector of travelers, aren't you? Well, then, you're two of a kind, you and your namesake. For the Mercury is a safe car, a true protector of travelers. Take brakes, for example. With a braking area of 162 square inches, the Mercury has an advantage over all the other cars in this group.
That's a big break for Mercury owners, isn't it?
Ooh, what a pun. But you're right. And Mercury's superiority is even more marked when you consider the ratio of braking area to car weight. Mercury's superiority in this factor means surer stopping and longer brake lining life. Another safety feature, Mercury's responsive engine and low weight-to-power ratio combine to enable you to pull out of tight places with reassuring promptness. Finally, no car can match the roadability and controllability that comes from the stabilized chassis with full torque tube drive and axle radius rods front and rear. Everyone wants safety in a motor car, and Mercury certainly has it. In fact, sales prove that Mercury has what a lot of people want. For over 60,000 Mercury 8s were sold last year, and more than 48,000 have been built up to March 1st this year. Over 108,000 since Mercury was first introduced something over a year ago. That's a brilliant sales record.
Well, with a name like Mercury...
It took more than a name. It took real superiority to win the preference of the buying public. And speaking of Mercury superiority, wouldn't you think that a car as far ahead as the Mercury would cost more than the others?
Well, doesn't it?
No, sir. The Mercury factory-delivered price is about in the middle of the group. But when you look beyond that Mercury price tag, you'll find plus values. You'll find the electric clock and the wheel trim rings that no other car in this group makes standard. And you'll find as standard equipment extras that are usually listed on other cars as an A group, such as electric snap-out lighter, glove compartment lock, armrests all around, spring covers, and twin horns. On the Mercury, there is no alphabetical extra price accessory list necessary to complete your equipment. The advertised price, plus taxes and handling, is the full delivered price. So the Mercury price tag moves down near the bottom when you add $15 to $30 to the tags on other cars for the added equipment that Mercury gives you. Speaking of accessories, many buyers today want cars equipped with a radio and a heater, and that's where Mercury buyers save again. On deluxe radios, for instance, the Mercury price is the lowest in the field, saving up to $23 over other deluxe radios. This saving is even greater on deluxe fresh air heaters. The Mercury price for this new type of heater is only $21 installed, which is from $9 to $39 lower than the fresh air heaters on all these other cars. And there you have it, sir. When would you like to take delivery on a Mercury?
Hold on there. I wasn't planning to buy a Mercury, although that isn't a bad idea. I just wanted to make sure that this automobile is a worthy bearer of my name.
Oh, of course. But when I get going on all the Mercury selling points, I just can't stop until I've made a sale.
Well, you've convinced me that our Mercury car is the top.
Top? That's putting it mildly. Why, the Mercury has more of everything. Style, convenience, comfort, roominess, performance, durability, safety, low maintenance cost, high resale value, more extra accessories as standard equipment. And as for economy, you saw the figures. Why, the Mercury 8 is more economical than most of the smaller cars made for economy alone.
Yes, and above all, the Mercury 8 has the finest name.
Finest name? You mean...
Yes, I mean that our automobile can use my name for as long as it stays where it is, at the top of its class.